Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Ruth, the Pain Doc, founder of Chronic Pain Rescue, a telehealth practice devoted to helping those who suffer from chronic pain with holistic and integrative practices to live pain free. It is possible. And I have a really special guest today. I'm really excited to present Aslan. I'm just going to let him introduce who he is and, what he does, what business he's in.
Yeah, appreciate you, Dr. Ruth. My name is Aslan. I am the proud owner of a float therapy facility in downtown Long Beach in California. We specialize in float therapy utilizing Epsom salt for a lot of different reasons and benefits. Some people have heard about it, some people not. So I'm happy to be here to kind of educate people and let them know more about it.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I really hadn't heard about it until I walked by your place and I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
So, and it said it treated, my goodness, pain issues, PTSD. I
Hmm.
think it saw ADHD and
Yeah.
anxiety, depression, and
Yep.
apparently there's lots of studies on it as well. So how did you find out about this? How did you get into it?
So I originally got into floating. I suffered a sports injury. I played soccer my whole life, and I developed something called piriformis syndrome. Your piriformis is a muscle in your glute where, after kind of extensive exercise, it get inflamed and it pinches your sciatica, which runs right under it. So I'd wake up in the mornings, I'd have excruciating kind of back pain, the pain going down my legs. And I remember hearing about floating through a podcast a couple years prior, and I really never thought much of it. But after going to the conventional doctor and them trying to just kind of like push me away, just gave me pain medicine or pain pills, I thought there was something else I could do to kind of manage my pain. And I started coupling floating with routine massages, and the Epsom salt helped tremendously. Kind of the weightlessness of it
Mhm.
helped me a lot, and that's how I originally got into it.
Wow, that is really cool. So you had a lot of pain. It was every day. It wasn't going away despite being on the medication. And then the combination of massages and the float therapy, you got
Yeah, kind
relief.
of just relaxing my muscle. The Epsom salt's great for inflammation.
Mhm.
So laying in there. So let me kind of tell the viewers a little bit about it and how the
Sure.
process works. So you have your own private room. You have your shower in there as well as your cabin or your tank. And you start out by taking a shower. You'll hop inside the tank. There's a foot of water and over 1,500 pounds of Epsom salt. So, what that salt water does, it makes you buoyant. So, you float on top of the water rather than in the water, like you normally do in a swimming pool, for example. And that kind of gives you the simulation of floating in zero gravity. The water is heated to the same temperature as your skin. So, after a few minutes of laying in there, you don't feel the water touching your skin anymore. So yeah, you float in there for an hour. Nice spa music will play in the beginning and at the end. At that point, you hop out, you get in the shower again, and you just shower like you normally would to get all that salt water off.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
How long did it take before you just started to get relief? Like, is this something that you get relief, but then the pain comes back, and so or is
Well,
it
it's
take
kind of like
time?
a routine thing where I would have to kind of keep up with it,
Mhm.
and as well as kind of with my personal issue with the piriformis, it's mostly kind of making sure I stretched, making sure I stretch properly, and kind of before doing any extensive exercise, making sure I stretch not to kind of uh, bring that problem back. So for me, it was kind of within maybe like a month or two where I was kind of able to manage it and get it in control without kind of having those outbreaks or those flare ups again.
Really cool. And how long had you suffered before you started it? So a couple
So for
months.
me, it was really painful. So, I mean, I was trying a lot of different things really quick. I did chiropractor. The chiropractor, the days where I could do the adjustment, I actually saw pretty good benefits. I'd be able to stand up straighter. The pain was kind of dissipating at that point, but I'd get my posture back. But by the time I get in the parking lot, to hop in my car,
No,
it would slowly creep back and I'd be
right.
feeling it again. So it was really temporary for me. So yeah, I kind of put it in my routine, and I tried acupuncture. I even did like Reiki, for example,
Mhm,
which
mhm,
that's the kind of thing. It was more so I needed some like immediate help.
mhm,
Just knowing how much salt is in the water,
mhm.
how beneficial that is to kind of inflammation and everything, and just like the
Right,
weightlessness. So I'd be laying in bed and I'm constantly feeling the pain because of gravity kind of pushing down on you, and
right.
not being able to find like a comfy position to lay in or sleep in.
Mhm.
So kind of going in there and not feeling anything was really good relief.
Right. Now, we started to talk a little bit before, and I said, "Oh, stop," because I want
Yeah,
the viewers to see this.
yeah.
What's the history of flotation therapy? When did this
So
start?
it was started by John C. Lilly. He was a professor at Stanford University back in the 1960s, and they were kind of doing experimentation really on the isolation of the senses. So flow therapy entails using sensory. They're called sensory deprivation tanks. So what they do, they deprive you of your senses. So there's no sense of sound, no smell, no touch. You kind of go in there, you disconnect from everything going on. The tanks are initially pitch black, so you won't be able to even see your hand in front of your face. Some do have lights in there. So yeah, they're called sensory deprivation tanks. So it was kind of experimentation um, on individuals, kind of seeing how they would react to this, and they saw that it had a lot of health benefits, and it was benefiting people in that sense. With the whole AIDS epidemic in the 60s, 70s, people got nervous about laying in water that other people laid in. They didn't understand kind of the disinfectant properties of the salt itself, and it kind of fell under the radar, and people weren't doing it too much. But yeah, in the 70s, 80s, it was kind of picking up traction again, and I don't think there was really any facilities or commercial spaces where you could do this until the late 80s, early 90s. And now it's kind of picking up more and more. People are learning about it, hearing about it, whether it's social media or podcasts like TikToks and stuff like that, YouTube videos, a lot of kind of pop culture implementing it in shows. Like
Mhm.
the show you mentioned, I think it was Deadlock, and
Right. Yeah.
Stranger Things. They had the little kiddie pool inside of the gym, and they were dumping a bag of salt in there.
Oh, okay.
So I think people are kind of learning about it one way or another and saying, hey, this is actually some holistic route I could take to maybe give it a shot, get some relief.
Yeah.
And yeah, now it's kind of definitely not like a Starbucks on every corner, but there's more than likely one in your vicinity that you could maybe drive to.
Now
Yeah, I
you
was trying to,
mentioned, yeah, you
yeah,
mentioned there's a place, a website you can go
yeah,
to
there's a
locate
website called
one.
Floatation, location.com, and you could just punch in your address and it'll show you all the different float center kind of closest to furthest away from you, and you can
Mhm,
find a center that way. Some
mhm,
people kind of within the years, the different actual tanks or cabins have changed a lot. Before, when they originally introduced, there was a company called Samadhi, and they did Samadhi tanks, which was I don't want to deter people, but it was essentially kind of like a coffin where
ooh,
you would crawl up inside. It's kind of really narrow. You'd have the ceiling right in front of your face, and that
mm,
was kind of like how people did it. But now they're getting bigger and bigger. A lot of float centers kind of have something called a pod, which is this big egg-shaped thing. That too, it's a little bit smaller. A lot of people tend to like the cabins, which are kind of entire rooms that you step in. It has real high ceilings, enough space for two people if you want to do it with a loved one. So yeah, it's kind of come a long way. Some people have the issue with kind of claustrophobia and everything,
right.
and
And
that
some
kind
people
of
don't like
deters
being
them.
in pitch black
Yeah,
dark
and pitch
either.
black. What's cool about our tanks here, we actually have a light in there, so you don't have to have it pitch black.
Mhm,
And I always tell people you could kind of baby step your way into it. I let people know you can always float with the door open if you'd like. You could have it open or cracked, and then if you feel comfortable, you can always close it. But it's totally up to you how you spend that hour. I have a lot of people that come in for a lot of different reasons, whether they're kind of into meditation, they're not into meditation, they're athletes, non athletes, people with pain, people that are kind of just looking for muscle recovery in that sense.
Hmm.
So not everybody spends that hour the same way. Some people come in, and I could walk by the rooms and I'll hear them snoring where they just go in there and they nap for the full hour. So yeah, it's totally up to you how you spend
Right,
that time. And there's kind of
right,
workarounds to that, to any issues you might have. We try to work with people, let them know, hey, if you have this issue, we could try this. And if at the end of the day, if you're really having a hard time being in there, you can always hop out. The doors don't lock or anything. No harm, no foul. You gave it a shot. You tried something new. That's
right.
all you can really ask for.
And I'll tell you, I did not know this until we were there
Mhm.
because I tried it out. That's me. I learned something. I want to try it
Yep.
myself. Me and my mom came to your
Mhm.
facility and I didn't know you couldn't wear your bathing suit. So that might be
Yeah,
something to
you
let
don't
people
you
know.
don't wear a bathing suit, so in that sense, you kinda wanna go in there in the nude because we don't think about it every day, but your clothes are a form of stimulation on your skin. You know what I mean? You're feeling it. So bathing suit, it's the same thing. And a lot of other times, your bathing suit has a lot of heavy dyes in there. So going and taking that inside of the tank, it could leach the dyes out and it'll stain the water.
Mhm,
So yeah,
mhm.
it's a lot of salt we put in there. It's not too cheap. So
Yeah,
we try to keep the water in pristine condition, nice and clean for all our floaters.
right, right. That was good to know. And you can wear a swim cap. You can.
Yeah, you could definitely wear a swim cap if you don't want to get your hair wet.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
yeah, that's also another option that you can do.
Ken, I know you kind of went over different types of issues people have come in. Is there any like example of a client maybe you could think of a story of their transformation with this? I mean, you told us about yourself, but people you've helped, someone that you've
Yeah,
helped with
for
this.
sure. So I actually had a client, not at this facility, but at a previous one that I helped open and worked at. He suffered from PTSD, and he was a retired fire chief. He was a firefighter, and he suffered from really hard PTSD. And he would go inside the float tank. He would do 2 hour sessions, and he would just nap in there. And one day, he came out, he mentioned, hey, this is like the only comfortable place where I could get a good night's rest or good sleep or nap. And we told him, hey, like if you want to give it a shot, we can let you float overnight. So
Oh,
I
wow.
had a little like door sensor, like you would walk into like a general store or something and it beep to let the person in front know. So we
Hmm.
set that up in front of the tank door, and I had the receiver out in the lobby, and I would just kind of be on my phone, maybe nap here and there. But if you ever open up the tank door, I would hear it, and he would float overnight, and he would get really good benefits from it. He said that he was able to kind of sleep throughout the night without any issues for the
Wow.
first time in a really long time.
Wow.
And that's one example. I have people on memberships, people with botched surgeries.
Hmm.
She has a bad hip, and she got a surgery for it, and it actually kind of almost made it worse. And
Hmm.
she would come almost every single day, and just to lay in there, kind of get that benefit similar to me, the weightlessness, not feeling that pain on her legs and her hip, and just the weight of herself, um, was kind of really life changing for her in that
Hmm.
sense, where she would kind of manage it. She would be good for maybe a day or two, but she would unfortunately kind of spark that pain again, and it'd flare up and she'd have to come back. But just having some form of relief, even if it's for an hour, is
Hmm.
probably kind of really inspiring to people in their
Hmm.
pain management journey.
Right, right. And important, if you can get that relief and then maybe some other things will that take more time to help,
Yeah, exactly. You
you know?
kind of
Yeah,
implement it with other kind of
right.
pain management that you can do.
Right. Very good. How if someone in the Long Beach or, LA counties, Orange County area would want to come, how would they find you?
Yeah, you can go on our website in thefloatspace.com. You could book a appointment right on there. It's got a bunch of more info. You can see all the benefits of it. We actually have a bunch of scientific journals under our benefits tab, whether it's uh, uh, physical and kind of spiritual, like having to do with your mind and everything. So yeah, you could reach us out on there. You can follow us on Instagram, FloatSpaceLB. And yeah, we post on stories and all that sort of stuff on there.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Aslan. I love your name. You know that because
Yeah, thank
one of
you.
my favorite books, Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, straight from the Chronicles of Narnia.
Anyway, I think this has been really informative. Thank you guys, whoever's watching.
Yeah, thank
This
you.
is actually we're pre-recording, but it's going to be posted very soon. And hopefully you'll reach out to him. Reach out to me if you're having issues with pain. I have free 30-minute phone consultations. If you're looking for a health coach to help you with your pain. And until next time, peace and blessings.